Whoa, what's good, man? It's your boy Trip G. We here again for another episode of Blunt Convo. Man, we got a very special guest on this motherfucker today, man. Hey, we got J.Poe in the building.
Yes, sir. I'm here, bro. I'm blessed. I'm healthy. I'm here.
It's good to see you, man.
For sure, for sure. Trip, thank you for having me on here. I'm blessed to be on this stage. You know what I'm saying? For real. So I'm always asking the questions now. I'm getting asked questions. That's cool. I'm with that.
Yeah, say that, man. So let's get right into it, bro. My first time meeting you, or not even meeting you, but hearing about you, I was like 14, freshman high school. And
You making me feel old.
man,
You making me feel real old, nigga. You 24 now, right? How old are you?
29.
God.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
When it
Go
was
ahead.
About 14, man.
14.
Yeah, 14 years.
You getting old, nigga. You getting old. Oh man, God damn.
My shout out to Bam, man. Shout out to Bam.
Shout out to Bam. That's my guy, for real.
Yeah, man. Big Menace. He was
Big Menace, shout out to Big Menace.
It was like concentration camp. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And he was like, no, these are the people you need to know. Like at the time, I was, bro, who are these people? You know what I'm saying? Show me videos and just put me on game. But like I said, he told me who you were, spoke highly about you. So I've always had this perception of J.Poe, the voice of the city. I want to ask you though, man, what was it like for you growing up, bro? Where are you from?
Well, let's start off like this. My introduction to life, you know what I'm saying? I came to Oklahoma in 1977.
So you're not even from here?
I'm from here.
Okay.
I came to this world
I got you.
in 1977.
I got you.
My mom had me in the house in the tub because she was scared that immigration was gonna take me.
Wicked.
As soon as I was born, I get a birth certificate. If you're born in the United States, if you're an immigrant and you have a kid in the United States, he becomes American.
Yeah.
That was our thought for many moons. So my mom had me here, boom. Had an American. I got my birth certificate and we went back to motherfucking Mexico.
Oh, wicked.
I was in Mexico all the way up to my 5th year. You know what I'm saying? We decided to come back to America, to Oklahoma to be exact, because my family was building here. My uncles, my dad, everybody had built houses here. So you know how Mexicans do. We're all piling up in one house and then we build another house and then we build another house. Basically, we took that same type of system, you know, when I was 5. Well, when I crossed over from Mexico, I didn't go over the bridge.
Yeah.
I actually crossed over the river. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to swim. So no disrespect, but you call me the American wetback because I'm really him. You know, because I'm American, but I'm crossing over with a whole bunch of immigrants. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's how it was. And we walked for days to Oklahoma from Texas, from El Paso to Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my people in Chuco. You know what, down, you know how it goes. So we was there. Y'all got a lighter? Let me borrow a lighter. It was a travel. I can't remember that travel because I was 5 years old, bro. My mind's gone now. I've lived life and everything. But I know I was 5 years old when I got to Oklahoma. To be exact, I got to Curve Village, Southwest Oklahoma City. When I was 5 years old, I came, and that's where my dad bought a house, and we started building there. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was raised, stuff like that. Well, back in the 80s, in the 90s, in early 2000s, up to the 2000s, it was predominantly black. It was nothing in there but black people. So that's who I generated with. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like a magnet. Them was my people. I didn't give a fuck what color you was. That was my best friend. But at that point, oh, he's black. It don't matter. That's my best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, my first love was a black girl. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was raised in. That's how I was raised. So in that community, I watched. I'm not gonna say. Can I say? What gentrifying? It went from black to Mexican. Instead of black to white, it went from black to Mexican. Because in the early 2000s, Mexicans start buying everything. Go like this, go like this.
Good looking out.
Yeah, go like that. Mexicans start buying everything. Boom, 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 boom. So they'll buy houses. You know, they on the south side, they got ruined houses everywhere. So it was like 5,000, 10,000 to go get a house. But you and your cousin is gonna build this house up, and it was yours. You know what I'm saying? All you have to worry about the land fees, that land taxes. So it was easy for Mexicans to come over from Mexico, you know, and everybody know everybody.
Right, right.
There's some kind of kin, there's some kind of, they live down the block, whatever, in Mexico. So being in Oklahoma, it was convenient for a lot of people to actually be conglomerate and, you know, let's work together. I'll help you build this if you help me build that.
Right.
So through my lifetime, that's what I was going through. And I also was going through the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my people in Curve Village was teaching me how to be a man, so say. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in the streets outside. You know what I'm saying? I came from a good Christian home. I'm not even gonna lie and be like, oh, my mom and dad was full of shit. No, they're still together right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're 60 years later.
Man,
They've been together. So I can't be like, oh, I was raised in a single parent home. No, nothing like that. I had my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I respected my dad. I respected my mom because she loved my dad. She was the example of a woman to me. That my father was an example of a man to me. So I'm not gonna disrespect and be like, oh, da 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 da. But at the end of the day, I had both.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like that. I'm blessed. And when I was raised, it was in a real strict Christian home. A lot of us know them. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people that we grow up to be rebellious because we don't want that no more.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people grow up like that. They don't want to live, you know, going to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Bro, what? And then my mom, it don't make it no better. My dad was a Sunday school teacher for many moons before I was born and many moons after I was born. So, you know what I'm saying? And my mom being a part of the, you know, Congress, whatever, the church stuff, whatever.
Right, like the community.
So, yeah. I was, you know, Jesus Christ out my ears type shit. No disrespect, but, you know,
Right.
I'm not trying to be blasphemous or nothing, but damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, you know?
Did you have any siblings?
My little brother, God rest my sister, but my little brother, I was outside.
Yeah.
I found family with motherfuckers that wasn't my blood.
Right, yeah.
So, cause my own family kinda, cause they was doing Christian shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Straight up.
I was out here doing worldly shit.
Thugging it.
So I was a black sheep. At all the family reunions and everything, I was in the corner over there, probably in the car smoking weed. I come up and they'll look at me and they'll shake their head and be like, here he comes.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, you know, shout out to my family. I love them to death.
Yeah.
They was there, but I wasn't, I was a worldly individual at that point in time. I didn't care.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? I lived since I was like 13, 12, 13, I lived a godly life. That's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? My mom and dad served God. They still serve God to this point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here to talk religion, but
Right, absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? That's what they come from. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, you know, I wasn't raised in a home where my mom was smoking, drinking. I wasn't raised in a home where my dad was beating up I wasn't in that.
Right.
You know, my mom and dad going to fucking Bible study. They was going to, you know,
Yeah.
it's water, soda. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no drinks in there. So I kind of was like, my friends, it just so happens that most of my friends, all of my friends, came from, I'm not going to say abusive homes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My mom was like a big orphanage. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of kids would just come to my mom's house, and she bless her heart, she was such a sweetheart. There'll be like 10 motherfuckers laying on her floor because we just got through ruckusing the night before. You know what I'm saying? So they all sleeping on the floor because they can't get in the house, whatever, or they don't got no house to go to. Right. And instead of my mom kicking everybody out and being like, she's putting pillows and covers under people and cooking, you know, there's burritos. When y'all get up, y'all ready, just let me know. So shout out to everybody, because my mom, she's still getting calls from the penitentiary from all these motherfucking people that she done raised, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. People, like one of my partners, he's actually been in the military for like 20-something years, right? He calls my mom every month just to check on her. Make sure that your mom's good, she's all right, whatever, you know, stuff like that. So it's a lot of relationships that she done grew herself with the people that I grew up.
Right.
You know, so at the end of the day, about 13, 14, I got to a point where I was like, I need to go. Yeah. You know, and I got to really thugging. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, you know what I'm saying, like statute of limitation, I know it to a point. I was drug dealing like a motherfucker back then. You know what I'm saying? I was young outside, nigga. I was outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, y'all know, y'all quit playing with me. Y'all act like I came from nowhere. Psh. Yeah. Ask about me, ask about E. They'll tell you what's happening, for real. But yeah, go ahead.
Coming from that lifestyle, coming from that background, how'd you get into the entertainment?
I got into entertainment in my early 20s because I was out here in the streets doing bad. Yeah. I didn't care. I was doing everything and anything. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if this was the creator or something, but he was like, let me interest you into something else. Yeah. So, you know, I started going to these spots. Shout out to the Culture Shock Camp. You know what I'm saying? That's first and foremost, the original Culture Shock Camp. Yep. We'll go back. You know what I'm saying? When JB had the locks, we'll go back. Before he had the locks, we'll go back type shit. For real, yeah, JB, you quit playing. At the end of the day, you know, shout out to them because they actually was the ones that opened my eyes to see music. Yeah. I love music. It runs through my blood. My dad's a singer. My cousins are in a band. They're all Christian. Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna say, and they're not. They're all Christian like a motherfucker, but they're well respected. You know what I'm saying? They're well known in the Christian community as who they are. Yeah. So music was in my blood, but there was this thing that I was getting really attached to. I was like, what is this? This is brand new. And this thing is called hip hop. Yeah. So I can talk about it because that's when it was its prime time. You know what I'm saying? The early 80s, the 90s was prime time. So this is what I fell in love with. I was falling in love with this shit. So I was trying to figure out, you know, a way to, you know, to get out the streets naturally. Yeah. In a smart person's mind, this is not what you want every day. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to wake up to violence every day. It's not what you want. That's not, you know, I'm not pussy, but at the end of the day, I don't want to have to get up and worry about the ops coming by my mama's house and shooting up the fucking house. They did that. They did that. They was doing that. And it got to a point where I just got tired. Yeah. And that's basically in 2000. 2000, they started doing this thing. Shout out to my man PJ, my man P Prince, or, you know, y'all know him as Prince PJ. He got Paisley Park. Yeah. Okay, shout out to PJ. He started doing these things called the open mic night at the Samurai. Yeah. And everybody started kind of meeting there. And it was cool. It was cool like a motherfucker, because you got guys like Nemesis, JP, Vern, Obi. You know what I'm saying? You actually got like Duo. Like you got guys that'll come and rip the mic, and you just be like, damn, where's this come from? You know what I'm saying? And I haven't found my calling. I'm still looking to see who the fuck I am. where the fuck do I fit in all this? And what's crazy, me and Nemesis, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm gonna take it. No, I'm gonna leave that to me and you. But me and Nemesis was being dirty dogs. I'm gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? We was dirty dogs back then. You know, we was outside, as they would say. We was living life, doing what we had to do, but we was still, you know. And then, shout out to Brian Freejo. He was like, yo, you want to go to so-and-so with us? You know, they was teaching hip-hop classes or hip-hop to indigenous people in reservations.
Wicked.
So, yeah, they didn't know that, but we was out here teaching people how to graffiti write, how to rhyme, how to dance, DJ, you know what I'm saying? The 4 elements. Yeah, it's crazy back then. And, you know, we was going to powwows, we was going to reservations, mentorship, stuff like that. So, you know, for the first few years, you know, that's what we did. We was with Brian Freejo, you know, Keith, Nim, Duo, me. And I was kind of like, I just kind of forced myself into this situation because I'm like, you need money to, you know, I got it.
Right.
You know, that's one thing that I had. I got, they thought I got it. What? Tickets gonna cost $300? I got that. Don't even worry about it. I got it. The room is gonna cost what? Oh, don't worry about it. I got it.
Yeah.
First night I got it. So, you know, kind of everybody in that position kind of, I didn't say they grew apart. It was everybody started doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, every artist has their time to be individuals.
Right.
So that's what was going on, you know. Duo was doing him, Keith was doing him, Nim was doing him, you know, and I'm kind of caught in the middle like, what the fuck do I do? I ain't no rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still no rapper. I'm still just J.Poe. Nah, back then I was E. Like E.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you where J.Poe came from.
Yeah.
If y'all got enough time, let me tell you. So, the first time that J.Poe came to life, we was doing battles in Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Head Crack and at the radio station, all that, because he was one of the hosts and it got to a point where we was going over there a lot, to a point where they was like, let's do a Dallas versus Oklahoma City type shit. All right. Oh, that's what y'all want? All right. Said. So they did some amateur shit at the beginning. I went to like second round, you know what I'm saying? But Head Crack, he introduced me, right? And he was like, what's your name? And I was like, my name's E. He said, what? I said, my name's E. He said, all right, bet. He said, y'all do me a favor, y'all give it up for Eden. I looked at this nigga, I grabbed the mic, I was like, bro, my name ain't Eden. I'm E, just call me E, just plain old E, bro. And he was like, and then I gave the mic back to him and they was like, whoa, excuse me, my bad. We'll call you just plain old E over there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it went on. The first battle, I won the first battle. Second battle, I lost. That was my first and only time that my career kind of battle rapper came to life. You know what I'm saying? Right there, boom. I won and I lost. It was cool. It was awesome. It was over with. Whatever. So we was on the way back, and I was in a van with Keith driving, Freejo in the front, Duo right here, Nemesis in front of me, I'm right here, and somebody else was sitting beside me. And they was like, and Nemesis is like, bro, we gotta find a name for you. I said, what? I said, bro, I ain't even a rapper. What you talking about? Bro, you're standing on stage and you know you need a name and whoop. And then we started thinking about everything. We're coming back from Dallas. So we're thinking about everything. Whoa. They called me Funny Bone when you know what I'm saying? in the hood, you know, they call me funny. When they was like, nah, we need something more aggressive. All right, bet. We're thinking about that. Well, the whole time driving, Keith is making a joke, and he's kind of like, well, let's just call him just plain old E. The whole time. Every name that'll come up, well, let's just call him plain old E, just plain old E. And then I was like, bro, like Nemesis is like, cut with that wax shit. And then Duo was like, bro, that low key sounds dope, just plain old E. J, just plain P-O-O-E. J.Poe. So
that's crazy.
No. At first it was J.Poe. J.Poe this, J.Poe that. I was like, I don't like that. That sound, you know, that don't sound like me. Woo. Well, J.Poe, cause we was listening to a whole lot of Shine.
Yeah.
S.Poe, shout out to Shine.
Yeah.
That sound hard. I ain't gonna cap. J.Poe. So that's where J.Poe came from.
That's crazy. That's hard than a motherfucker.
That's where J.Poe came from. You know what I'm saying? That's where the branding, you know what I'm saying?
You got that on Blunt Convo. Hey, that's hard than a motherfucker, bro. I didn't know that.
So that's where J.Poe come from. That's why I be like, Jay, don't ever forget the E. Yeah. When you put me down in your contact and put P-O, that's gonna piss me off more than anything. I'm gonna look and be like, oh, you don't get it. My name is not P-O, it's P-O-E.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The E is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
So at the end of the day, that was our kind of our little, you know what I'm saying, our little niche.
Yeah.
So that's where the J.Poe thing came from. I was Culture Shock. I ran with them till like all the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? About 2004, 2005, when we decided to kind of spread wings. Yeah. So I went this way, they went that way. Man, at this point, this was crazy. This was crazy. Because I'm going to tell the whole story. And you can fact check me if you want to. Because I'm putting everybody's name out there. So for a few years, you know, I was out in the streets. We didn't know nothing. You know, my first career, thinking of career or even being in a part of a career was Culture Shock. You know, everybody done moved. Everybody moved on. You know, 2006, 2007. And this young artist that was going crazy at that point in time, he had a tape called Black Friday. Shout out to Young Jones.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you, I've known him since he was 16, but I really didn't take him serious till I started hearing his raps and I was like, oh, shit, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. So what's crazy is I knew Young Jones when he first started his career. Now, I'm not gonna say when he first started his career, but in his I'm gonna say kind of in his prime of his career.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was also learning how to be a host, an MC.
Yeah.
My man Brandon, that's who really put me on my first gig to host. Right. I was hosting Penny Pinching Mondays at Sooner Corral. It's closed now. It's demolished. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of you OU motherfuckers have been in there and done y'all shit. When y'all was, I'm not going to even say, I'm not going to even fuck y'all up like that, but that's where I started hosting because I started doing the wet t-shirt contest. Mm-hmm. They needed some, the host didn't come in. They was like, bro, whoa, we need a host. My guy was real cool with the owner. He was like, bro, why don't you give my guy the mic? I was already practicing at Samurai with them. You know what I'm saying? I was practicing on being the host then.
It's crazy as fuck, bro.
Listen to how it's going. This is crazy. So right after that, we doing the Penny Pinching Mondays at the fucking at Sooner Corral. We're going crazy. Boom, 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 boom. Then I really start mastering that shit. I'm getting people hyped. The dude that owns the fucking spot is like, I want you to host my shit. From now on, I'm going to give you $100 and whatever the fuck you want to drink. I didn't drink at that point in time, so it really didn't mean nothing. Just give me 150, we good. He's like, you got it. So every Monday, boom, 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 for a few years. And then I was still low-key fucking with the culture shop. And it's crazy because we had the Blue Review. Shout out to all my Sigmas in the building, at OU. We had a Blue Review talent show that we was getting judged at to win $1,500. Of course, we all kids, we all want that money, gang. At the end of the day, we all go. So you got Nemesis, you got Duo and Nemesis rapping. You got Keith and Hostiles b-boying. You got DJ Brian Frijo behind the turntables, and I'm hyping the party up. I need everybody, let's go, ho, ho. We got second place. We didn't win. The winner was a young lady. She's a famous artist now. I can't even remember who it was, but she won first place. Cool. But that's when I got real cool with DJ Eddie Brosco.
Wow. Damn. How old were you then at this point?
I was in my early 20s.
Damn. Okay.
I was in my early 20s, bro.
Okay.
I'm 46 now. So.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like 19 going into 2021, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That's how old, I was. So I met Brosco. And me and Brosco basically, we're hip to hip. Yeah. He's my mentor. He takes me under his wing. He's like, look, I need you host for me and I'll DJ. Yeah. And we was like the dynamic duo.
That shit crazy.
Dynamic duo. Crazy. We did all the shows. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Barry. Yeah. He bought the Cancun, which is now the Redneck Yacht Club. Before it was Velocity, right? Shout out to Rick. I'm an old motherfucker. I'm going to really tell it. You know what I'm saying? I'm really going to tell you Oklahoma history. Yeah. So, shout out to Barry, you know what I'm saying? For Cancun, he went crazy. We brought a lot of motherfuckers there. We had that bitch full Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Crazy. Going crazy.
Turn it up.
Turn the fuck up. And then that's when a guy by the name of Mo Millions came to the city from New York. Shout out to Mo Millions and the whole Deja Vu clique. Yeah. Shout out to them. Because I don't know what happened, but they lost their lights at that other club. So he's been asking about us for weeks already. He's like, who is the DJs that got this motherfucker rocking? I want them some motherfuckers at my spot. Yeah. I'm gonna do it 10 times better. And that's what he did.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? For everybody, ask about the Deja Vu era. They're gonna be like, that's when the Jeezys, the Rick Rosses, the Boosie, and the Webby, both at the same time came. Wow. Not once, but twice. You know what I'm saying? Jeezy came twice. You know what I'm saying? I could go on and on and on. Bro, when I say he brought everybody, bro. He was bringing everybody. Shout out to Deja Vu Nightclub. You know what I'm saying? DJ Red Handed.
Bro.
Red Handed was a rapper before he's always been a DJ. Don't get it fucked up. He's always been a DJ. Yeah. He's always been a writer. But he was a rapper at that time. Mm-hmm. At that time, Red Handed was a rapper for Deja Vu Entertainment.
That's crazy.
Some shit happened between these two, between Deja Vu and Presidential Trap House. I don't know the history. Yeah. I don't know who did what happened where, right. But I know it was beef. Yeah. You know, I know it was beef. And I was at that point, I was kind of riding the line because I had friends on both sides. Right. I had really good friends on both sides. I had somebody, I grew up with somebody over here, and then on this side, I had somebody that was actually putting money in my pocket. Right. And and at that point in time, he actually gave a fuck about what the fuck I said or what I had going on. And at that point in time, like, you can't deny them type of relationships. I was gangster, so I was kind of like, don't bring that shit to me. Cause y'all already know what I'm on. So don't bring that shit to me. Respectfully, y'all keep that line. You know what I'm saying? Me and Brosco, we was on a whole, he was doing 103.5. He was the #1 DJ. At that point, that he was the #1 DJ for like 10 years.
On me, yeah.
Let's talk about it. Real facts. Let's talk about it. DJ Eddie Brosco was the #1 DJ for 10 plus years. On not one station, but 2 stations in Oklahoma. Let's get that right. They ain't understanding. I'm gonna talk that shit, cause I've seen it. I've witnessed it for what it is. So, at that point in time, there was a beef. Beef slowed down. Deja vu, you know, Mo done went back to New York. These motherfuckers, a big old RICO indictment happened between them. It was a lot of mess. So it was kind of like everything was smooth. And me and Chop.
Yup, shout out to Chop, man.
Me and Chop. This is Chop Air. This is Sav Squad.
Yup.
Okay? So me and Chop, we known each other a long time. We was out here being together. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put us out there because I know you're a family man. I know you're a businessman. But me and Chop was really out here. You know what I'm saying? We ran from the feds together, all that. For real, we was in the league, we was in the gold, ducking feds. When the indictment hit, they called me, was like, hey, the feds is up here. They're about to sweep everybody. We can fact that. We can fact it. And I'm like, what? I need you to grab your shit and get the fuck out of here. Say less. I go right to I'm calling Chop, he don't answer. I'm knocking on the door, Ashley, wake Chop up. They picking up everybody. Chop phone going crazy. Everybody getting picked up. They picking up those, he getting texts. I'm like, we're out of here. We're on the highway, I-40 fucking east, going. Me and Chop. You know what I'm saying? Just because we didn't know what was going on. We don't know what the fuck was happening. We know that they just coming to pick up a lot of the people that was close around us. God, thank God we wasn't involved in that shit. Because at that point, you got to understand, that's when Chop started Sav Squad. Me and Chop, it was 8 of us. It was 8 of us that started Sav Squad. It all started with Chase D, Chase Dollars on the east side. They was making stupid music together. Everybody was pulling up to the spot. And a guy by the name of Young Savage, shout out to Young Savage, you know what I'm saying? He was rocking with Presidential Trap House at that time. And he faithfully lost his life. So we dedicated our life to him.
Straight up.
Young Savage, shout out to Young Savage, you know? And that's where Sav Squad came from. It was Savage, but Sav Squad. But we did so many abbreviations and acronyms about it, but one stuck a lot, and that was status already verified. That's basically what stood with us, and it, you know, status already verified, Sav Squad. You know what I'm saying? For real. So, I'm ashy. Don't mind me, I'm ashy. Let me borrow y'all lighter, bro.
That's real though.
But it's crazy because, like I said, we was out here chasing that dollar, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just like everybody else. At that point in time, it was, you know, in the midst of us doing whatever we doing, trying to become businessmen, trying to separate ourselves from that situation and just, we was doing our own business at that point in time. Sav Squad was doing their own Presidential Trap House. Because Chop had relationships with the Presidential Trap House, he would be PHE or PTH to, shout out to Fast Cash and them, you know what I'm saying? But he will be you know, Presidential Trap House, that's all we know. From that point, he started Sav Squad. He's going to be the boss. Yeah. And it was 8 of us. Let me line them up. Young Jones, Young Dirty, Chop Chop was our rappers. Okay? Then you had Grind Daily. Yeah. And as y'all know him right now, DB, 405. Yeah. But back then, he was Drama Boy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Chase D and Rich Kid for our producers, and then you had me. That's the original 8. That's the original 8. That'll be the original 8 of the Sav Squad movement. And we basically was the first individuals in Oklahoma that actually had a brand, a t-shirt brand. You know, shout out to Group Fly, because they're the originators of the style. But when it comes to the brand, Sav Squad, Sav Life, we started that. Yeah. When the merch shit, we had the van branded, like we billboards, like we had a movement. Damn. No lie, y'all can check this shit. It's all facts. Everything that I'm saying is gonna be facts. Fact check me if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't tell no lie. This is exactly what it is. We was out here doing Sav Squad. We had major love because at that point he was a part of Presidential Trap House 2, and that was Star Life. Yep. Back then he went as Young Star. You know what I'm saying? So he was a part of our, you know, we had a relationship with him. He was our brother when it came down to it. In them times, the early 2000s, it was dope, bro, because it was real genuine music. It was really coming from Oklahoma. Yeah. We didn't know how to put it on the web yet because the web was barely brand new. Mm-hmm. A lot of us knew that it was just a face-to-face here. Here's my CD, or here's my flyer. That's what we grew up on. Mm-hmm. So getting a name, getting to know, or people getting to know you came from you shaking hands with people. Like they say, I always say this, recognition is the cornerstone of power. Right. So once they see you once, they'll be like, who's that? Once they see you twice, they're gonna ask about who's that again. Once they see you 3 times, they're gonna be like, oh, that's J.Poe. Yeah. Then that's the mentality that I took. So, you know, back then I was a young fool, I had money, I was doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. So I was going to every city. Dallas to be more exact, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to connect dots everywhere. Yeah. One time, DJ Dallas dropped. Shout out to Definition DJs. Because that was the first ever coalition that I'm doing. I was the first Oklahoma DJ from Definition DJs. Yeah, I was the first out-of-town DJ from Definition DJs. Do you actually DJ? Yes, I do. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. 100%. You know what I'm saying? I definitely can get on any turntable, it don't matter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, 1200s up to right now. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Reaper, yeah, for real. Yeah, he could confidently, you can confidently put me behind the tables and I'll do my thing. I do my thing. Because I've got greats like that. Like DJ Reaper right over there. I got motherfuckers like that actually be like, oh, do this, do that. And I was raised with guys like DJ Eddie Brosco, DJ Hezekiah. I ain't even got to DJ Wayne in this thing yet, DJ Life and Kilo and all. I haven't even got to them yet. This is, you know, unity, stuff like that. That's who I grew up around. So to be a part of it, you had to sponge like a fucking, like you had to get it. You had to soak it up. Okay. What are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? I remember one time, Brosco had to go use the restroom, and it was Young Jeezy, Thug Motivation 101. Prime time. The whole club was full. And he was like, y'all can take care of this, huh? And back then, he had the CDJs that you have to put the CDs in. He didn't have Serato.
Yeah.
He actually had the real CDJs. Reaper know what I'm talking about. If he was here, he'll know exactly what the fuck. You remember the Mark ones? The ones that you had to stick the CDs in? Before the Serato was even born. Bro, what? Brosco left us and was like, y'all got it. Got what? Got what? Y'all can DJ. Y'all need to go take this call. Can y'all DJ? I need y'all to DJ. Yeah. All right. And that's basically, you know, that's where it started, to say the least. That's where it started. So, shout out to DJ Dallas Drop. I didn't want to get out of that situation. I'm the first Definition DJ in Oklahoma for sure. You know what I'm saying? I put a couple people on the Definition DJ. Shout out to Grind Daily, Drama Boy. You know, they're original.
Yeah.
They're originals when it comes down to it. So, bro, I could say that's when I started doing my own thing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a group thing no more. Right. It was just J.Poe. You know, J.Poe doing Definition DJs, J.Poe doing this. And I was back and forth from Dallas a whole lot.
Right.
So, you know, Dallas is, I can say it's going to be my second home. Mm-hmm. But we also had ties in Tulsa.
Yeah.
Because we would go to Tulsa a whole lot. Shout out to Chop for linking that in, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man CO2, you know, now known as Pastor Coco. You know? Yes, oh yes. Yeah, you know, we gonna talk about the YAs too, you know, shout out to them. They was the originator love that we had in Tulsa, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as we linked up, it was like, hey, we come, you know, shout out to Villain. Shout out to a lot of people, DJ Big Rich in Tulsa. Yeah. Shout out to a lot of people that's in Tulsa. I don't want to forget nobody, so I'm going to stop naming names because people are going to be like, oh, that's fucked up. You forgot about us. No, y'all got to remember. Please remember, I haven't even got to that yet. So, you know, I was going back and forth, and this is the start of when J.Poe's career really just, you know, it was kind of like, okay, that's when they know J.Poe. Yeah. And I was going to all the summits, California, New York, down north, up north, down south, everything. I was going to I started going to the motherfucking South by Southwest before the barriers.
Crazy.
When it was just 6th Street, wide open. Damn. That's how far back I've been going to South by Southwest. AC3, we've been doing AC3 for almost 20 years. Yeah. For sure. Wow. Guaranteed. Facts. Shout out to my man JB. You know what I'm saying? He put us on that. For real. Like, I could tell you a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started meeting DJs. And DJs became executives. Yep. And then they became MDs and PDs and CEOs. And you're like, oh, shit. You do what now? You know what I'm saying? You're doing what? So, shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying, that I met through my journey. Was in Oklahoma doing this thing, and I met this, shout out to, at that point, the Southside DJs, DJ Dre songs, you know. And there was a young motherfucker, my boy Taiwan, shout out to him, you know what I'm saying? There's a young man by the name of Wayne. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was doing everybody's house parties. Shout out to my man Wes, because that's where it started. Him doing house parties with Wes. So everybody wanted to, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I think that was one of three. He had a party with Ashley Hines, and I think, was it 7 or somebody like that? And that's where the Wayne's World thing started. You know, and he was doing his thing. Yeah. As a DJ, he was doing his thing. but he low-key felt like, you know, because he was a young man, he was the youngest coming in. And at that point, shout out to all the DJs that had it ripping. Kilo, Trey Songz, you know, he had Orange. They had Mac back then, G-Mac.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? Quest. It was a lineup of motherfuckers it was a lineup, but he was a young nigga coming in.
Yeah.
He was young coming in. I can remember a conversation. I can't remember. It was 10 plus years ago. Me and him had a conversation. He was like, bro, I'm getting tired. I feel like everybody trying to sum me or trying to little bro me. And I'm bigger than that. I said, well, you going to have to show them. You going to have to show these motherfuckers that you bigger than that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and at that point, I was like, bro, I got your back. Whatever it is, fuck it. We gonna rock with it. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think that's the relationship where me and Wayne in our journey come.
Yeah.
At that point, I was taking my music serious. I was taking everything serious. And I kind of was aligning myself. I was always hosting the shows. I was always hosting things with him.
Yeah.
I started being partners with him about things, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's where our journey starts, you know what I'm saying? And it brings us up to 2 years ago, you know? And I'm gonna say, you know, the world be whirling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause, you know, Wayne's becoming a superstar. He's touring, and I'm out here getting it, you know, living life. But in them years, I think I was trying to learn what a relationship is like. I wanted to sit my ass down somewhere.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to sit down. I was kind of like, I was in and out. You know what I'm saying? I was in and out. So I think that's when I started having relationship troubles. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I think a few years, I'm gonna say like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, me and my ex broke up.
Yeah.
So I was living life. Fuck it, I didn't give a fuck. I was living life how I want to live it. And then, you know, I was out here doing some things, you know what I'm saying? I was out here, you know, I was out here doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing. And a couple of years ago, I think we was in a meeting. It was me and Hugh Glass. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hugh. You know what I'm saying? He's going crazy right now.
Yeah.
You know, the Duke, all that. And we went to Blue Collar Criminal. Shout out to Darren. Duh, you know what it is, cuz, for real. And he was real interested in having a conversation with us. He was like, bro, look, I'm trying to break platforms right here. And at this point in time, it's gonna take a motherfucking vet to help me out. You know what I'm saying? In the direction that we're going and stuff like that. I was like, 100%. I get it. And then I think at that point, it was like the biggest sponsorship that was ever known in Oklahoma. He was gonna give me a substantial amount of money.
Wicked.
Clothing line, product, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Wow.
Del was actually gonna, he was gonna break the motherfucking way with this one.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got the sponsorship, me and Hugh, we're celebrating. We're on our way back to the house. And then I get out the truck. I'm happy, but I'm feeling a little woozy, right? I get to the door, and I go to open the door screen, and I miss. Like, what the fuck? So I went to go grab the door. When I grabbed the door, I felt my body go on a flat. Like, my whole body just gave up on itself. And I was like, whoa. And I almost fell. When I almost fell, Hugh caught me. Hugh caught me and was like, you all right? I was like, no. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm like, no. He's like, bro, I think you need to lay down or something like that. I was like, no, I don't know. And then I'm just spinning around.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I do need to go lay down. So they took me to the back to the bedroom. I'm over here. I can't get to, I'm dizzy, bro. I'm dizzy in a bitch. And when they go to lay me down, I feel like a whoosh in my head, inside my skull.
Get the fuck out of here.
And when I laid down and I felt the whoosh, I stood back up and I felt the whoosh back in. I was like, oh, this ain't supposed to happen. I said, take me to the emergency room ASAP.
Like fluid whooshing in your head.
So I'm gonna get to that. So they take me to Mustang Emergency, and I get in there, and it's a male nurse, and looking at me, and he said, are you okay? Well, I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I'm fucked up. He said, yeah, we can see that. There's nothing we can do for you here.
What?
We got to escort you to St. Anthony ICU ASAP. And I was like, damn.
ASAP.
So I was like, okay. They put me on a stretcher. They tied me up, and they put me in a motherfucking the ambulance. When the doors closed, everything went black.
Wow.
So,
wow.
I don't know the ride. I don't know what happened on the ride to the hospital. All I can remember is when I woke up, I had tubes all in my mouth, my Peter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling claustrophobic. So I start taking shit out.
Yeah.
And then that's when Brosco and Bishop, everybody kind of hold me down. It was like,
Relax, hold on.
chill out, bro. You're tripping. You're tripping. And I was like, that's when I just woke up. I think, Brosco wasn't there. It was Bishop.
Yeah.
It was Bishop. I remember. Now I remember it was Bishop. Brosco got there right after I woke up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking at them motherfuckers and they like, are you all right, bro? You all right, bro? Big bro, you all right? And this is Bishop. You know Bishop, how Bishop do.
Yeah.
You all right, big bro? I was like, yeah, I'm all right. What's up? And he gets to crying. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I take this mouthpiece, and then my mom, I get to talking to my mom, and my mom's just like, oh shit. I was like, what's the day? And they was like, it's Friday. This happened on a Tuesday.
What?
But it wasn't that Friday, it was the next Friday. No, it happened on a Thursday, because it was 10 days.
Yup.
I was in a coma for 10 days, or something like that.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, I was fucked up.
So you were saying when you got in the back of the ambulance, doors shut, it was dark.
Oh, when I got to the hospital, I was DOA.
When you woke.
I was DOA when I got to the hospital. I was dead on arrival. For sure, you can look at my charts. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I was DOA. You know what I'm saying? For sure. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That shit was it was gnarly. Cause the nurse gave me the rundown of what happened. So basically what happened was, I had a stroke. And that stroke caused a blood vessel to burst in my brain that actually went into my cerebral cortex instead of going into my brain and swelling up my brain. It went to my cerebral cortex, and instead of it going down and paralyzing me for life, it went up. So the blood was going up here on top of my skull.
And that's what you felt?
Basically, the whoosh whoosh was the blood that I had in my head. I'd busted a blood vessel trying to open the door. Damn, that's crazy. I just found that out. I just realized that shit. I was trying to open the door and I busted a blood vessel. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. That, Reaper, that's crazy. I just realized where my fucking, that's what happened. I had a stroke and I busted a blood vessel. I had another stroke at Mustang. That's why I was tripping again.
Yup.
On the ambulance ride, they was doing the whole woo-woo, you know what I'm saying, to try to get me right. When they revived me at St. Anthony's, I had a heart attack.
2 strokes and a heart attack.
Yeah, so they had to pump some shit in me and all that, stabilize me, and I wouldn't wake up. But I was alive though.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
God, man. Wow, bro.
Yeah, so I'm walking around. This is what happened to me, and I don't want nobody to actually feel bad. I was living a fucked up life, so I take full responsibility of what happened to me.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs. Don't pimp on hoes, cause that's what's gonna happen. Reaper looked at me. Hey, I'm being real. Hey, look, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But we all know the game. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. Do not let stress deal with you like that. I was working my ass off like a fucking workhorse, not knowing that my body was gonna give up on me.
Wow.
My blood pressure was stupid. I was in the 200s on both. Not in the low 200s either. Yeah. I was a walking stroke. So I get it, but I didn't give a fuck at that point in time. At that point in time, it was just like, whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep getting this money. I'm gonna keep being successful. Yeah. All right. The creator had a different he had a different plan for me. He said, sit the fuck down is what you need to do. And he did that. Wow. And that's what happened. I ended up having paralysis of my left side. So as of right now, I'm legally disabled. I got paralysis of the left side is what they say. That's why I talk like I talk. Wow. I literally had to teach myself, because when I woke up and I couldn't talk. I could think regular like a motherfucker, but I couldn't talk. You see how I got that slur? Yeah, that's from that shit that happened to me. So I had to literally learn how to project. Shout out to Third Letter, shout out to DJ Eddie Brosco for the Sunday show they did in Lawton on iHeart. Yeah. We'll do that like every Monday, bro, and that's where I learned how to project my voice. Right. Cause I was talking like this. You know what I'm talking about? Right. And people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I couldn't walk. The first time I got out the hospital, I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair for I think 3 weeks, bro. And like them first 3 weeks, I was in peak prayer, smoking weed over there in the corner, making my own section, gang. For real, that's what I learned how to make my own section. People would come over there and sit by me, cause I was over there just chilling, smoking weed. Yeah. And then I went from a wheelchair, and I got tired. I got really tired, bro. I got tired of being on my back. I got tired of being sitting down. I got tired, and I just started working myself. Mm-hmm. And I started working myself, and then boom. You know what I'm saying? You got it. Now it's time for you to take these steps. Yeah. Bro, that was probably the most hardest thing I've ever done in my life, was learning how to walk again. It wasn't speaking, because I got a loud mouth. I speak for days. It was learning how to walk again. So once I got up, I didn't want the wheelchair no more. So they got me a walker. Right. Once I started learning how to walk, started training my motherfucking legs how to walk, I'm starting to walk in the hood. I got my pistol. I walking in a walker around the block. He like, Poe, what's up? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it for real. I'm telling you. And I walked around the block, and I would stand outside. I would sit outside, but I was always active, and And then it got to a point where Shout out to Cameron, cause she actually gave me the effort to get out the walker.
Yeah.
We left Pete Parrott one day, and I was walking out the back. I walked out the back. I was always walking out the back. When I was handicapped like that, I wasn't walking out the front. I was always walking out the back.
Right.
Shout out to Rich. He loved the fuck out of me. Poe. Whenever they leave, just go out the back. All right, say look. So I was walking out the back one time, and I had my walker. People open up the doors, and then I'm outside. And Cameron was like, she looked at me and she just grabbed my face and she was like, oh, it's so awesome to see you like this, but we don't want to see you like this. And she cried. I said, don't cry, because you're gonna make me cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't. And she's like, I can't see you like this. We're used to seeing you. You know what I'm saying? You're the super unk. You know what I'm saying? And now you're not. Now you're in a walker. And that kind of gave me, fuck this walker, nigga. Fuck this walker. I'm doing what I'm doing. So I started building confidence, because it's a confidence thing. Don't be scared to walk from here to there, because you've accomplished what you've never done in your life. Ever. Walking from here to there. I've never done that in this condition in the way I've ever. So you know what? I wasn't scared. I was just like, fuck it, I'll get my fucking self up. I've learned how to fall, and I know what it's gonna feel like to fall. So so knowing that, I'm not scared. Nigga, You know what I'm saying? Niggas wouldn't understand how it felt. Like, it felt good. And I wanted that feeling all the time. So it kind of was like, I learned how to walk. Now I can stand up and walk, and people don't even think that I was dead 2 years ago. I was literally crippled 2 years ago. We're going in October. I got out the hospital in October. Halloween would be the session that I got out. And I'm here. Now I'm talking about it. It happened 2 years ago. And now we're here. Now I got culture, you know what I'm saying? I'm the hottest motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Still. To this point, you know what I'm saying? Now I can only thank everybody that got my back, that's had my back for all these years. That actually was like, you know what? There's something in you. I don't know, but we're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. And, 2024.
Bro, I can't thank you enough for sharing that with me, man.
Yeah, you want to know it, bro? I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a whole lot of history right there. God damn, it's a whole lot of history.
Straight up, man.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you up too much longer, man. Where can the Blunt Convo family follow you, man?
Poe in this thing, PoeIndisthang. Poe in this thing. Just that's Instagram, Facebook. I think you can follow me on Facebook. Justin Poe. You can go to J.Poe. JPOE45. That's my Snapchat. That was my Instagram, but they done suspended my account. You know what I'm saying? Because of some weed shit. But shout out to everybody I'm working with, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I got my own brand coming. So my own strain. I had my own strain. Shout out to, I'm not even gonna lie, Fresh Family, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all, Fresh Harvest, Poison Pie. I did that. I'm the first in Oklahoma to do it. Yeah, I'm Soldier Boy. Fuck yeah.
Say that. Well, look, man, we just had another episode of Blunt Convo. Shout out to Blake. Shout out to Media. Shout out to Hubby Bubbly. Shout out to the home team, man. We out this motherfucker.